Welcome, everyone, to our next Canvas webinar session. Thank you so much for joining us as we just continue down this road of learning all things about Canvas. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to present my screen so you can see all about Canvas assignments today. We're going to talk really the very basics of assignments and what you need to do to get ready to put an assignment in your Canvas course in order to get material back from students. So that's really our ultimate goal today. The very first thing is I'm going to go ahead and show the Canvas webinar series, the document, just so you know what's coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this first. So this, just so you know what's coming up, this is, again, this is the third in our Canvas webinar series, Canvas assignments. And coming up in a couple weeks, we're going to have one specifically on Google assignments inside of Canvas. So I'll mention where that is today in this webinar, but we're actually going to dive into it in the next one. And then you can see we have a few more after that that are going to go into further getting you ready for Canvas. So I am going to switch over now to my Canvas dashboard. So just a reminder, in order to get to Canvas, probably the easiest way to get there is you can see you probably can't see the URL bar right now, but it's wentzville.instructure.com. So wentzville.instructure.com. And from here, where you want to do is go ahead and click on your dashboard. And essentially where we're trying to get to is we're trying to get to one of our sandboxes or just a course we're going to use. So today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on my dashboard and then I'm going to come down. I actually have a sandbox that I'm going to use today, this sandbox right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click into this sandbox. And by the way, if you need a sandbox, you just let us know and we will be happy to create a sandbox for you. Okay. All right. So here we are, this is a pretty empty course. So it's going to look very, very basic. There's only a couple of things in here. And so that's kind of the way I wanted it. So you could see exactly where I'm going to click on, because today our focus is assignments. And so there's a couple different ways I can create an assignment. The first way you can create an assignment is actually over in the left-hand navigation on the left-hand side of my screen. You see that I have the word assignments over here. If I click on assignments, I can actually, this next page that I get to, I can actually go right in the top right corner and I can click on plus assignment. Okay, I can click add an assignment right here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it's going to go ahead and just bring me to the assignment creation page. Okay, now I'm not totally ready to show you this just yet because I want to show you how else you can create an assignment, but I wanted to show you where that was. So I'm going to actually scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to cancel this because we're going to show you a couple different ways of creating assignments. So that was if I clicked on the assignments over here on the left-hand side, on my left-hand navigation, I can click add an assignment, this plus assignment right here. That's good because it's only one click to get there. You click add assignment, it brings you right to the assignment page. However, if you're someone in Canvas who likes the use of modules, so if I come down here on the left-hand side where it says modules, this is where a lot of people use Canvas, is they have a module set up. So you can see here, I have a module right here called week 1. I could always add another module right up here. Notice the blue button that's at the top is kind of always that add for Canvas, like either an assignment or a module. It's kind of whatever you're clicked on over here. What I like to do when I'm creating an assignment, typically I'm putting it in a module. So what I do is in the module bar right here where it says week 1, there's a plus button here. If I click that plus button, I can actually choose from a lot of different things to add to this module, and I'm adding it directly to the module. And you can see the very first one is an assignment. This is typically how I create an assignment because I like to use modules. The first way I showed, though, is totally fine as well. It's really just a personal preference. Canvas gives you a lot of different ways to do the same thing. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click assignment. Now, this is the part here that it can kind of be a little confusing because you'll notice I have add assignment to week 1 selected, but my add item box is it's grayed out, like I can't click it. What you have to do here is you have to either click this create assignment, which is basically saying I want to create a new assignment, or you would have to click on an existing assignment. So this is an assignment that I would have created before. Maybe I did create an assignment while I was on the assignments tab for the left-hand navigation. The assignment would be sitting in here. So that's how you can kind of navigate between the two. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click create assignment right here. And then what it does is it instantly gives me a spot to give that assignment a name. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll type in example assignment. And then the next thing I do, I like to choose my indentation level here. Typically 1 level is what I use. And basically that will just nest the assignment in the module. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and click add item. And you will see immediately under week 1, I have example assignment now listed right here. So here is week 1 example assignment. Now, one thing about doing it this way, we still haven't been to the actual page where we edit the assignment yet, because all it's doing right now is basically putting a placeholder in, basically saying there's going to be an assignment that goes here. I actually need to click into it to go ahead and edit it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on example assignment. Now this next page that appears, this is just the very basic before it's edited. This is what the assignment looks like. So what I need to do as the teacher creating this is I need to actually click on this edit button, okay? And notice nothing is published yet. When you create one, it does not automatically publish it for kids. So you can go ahead and keep working on it as long as you want before you hit that publish button. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit from here. And now, if you remember back to just a few minutes ago, this is that same screen we were at when we clicked on the plus assignment button from the left-hand navigation on assignments. So hopefully it's not confusing, but I just like to show you the different workflows you can utilize when you're in an assignment. Okay, so now that we're in the assignment page, this is kind of where the main bulk of what you're going to do is, because this is where you can edit the assignment. So from here, this is what they call this is a rich content editor right here. And so I can put anything in this box that I want. This is essentially where you're going to give students instructions on what the assignment is. So for this assignment, students will complete the following, right? And then we could list a bunch of things. I could put in here, you can obviously see I have all the editing tools I need. So if you need to mark really important information in red, you can do that, okay? You have coloring, you have the different, editing tools to bold, italics, all the stuff you're used to. Just like if you were working in a Google Doc, you have all those features here. Okay, centering, aligning. Do you need a bulleted list? You can put that in there. So you can put just about anything in here, including media. You can also put images. Okay, so you can see here, I can upload an image. There's course images. That would be for if you already had images uploaded to your course. But let's just say you had an image on your computer you wanted to use. You could just click the upload image button right here, and then you could upload it just like you would upload an image to anything else. Obviously, you can link. So right here, I can do an external link. So do I need students to go to an article at PBS, the PBS website and read? You can link them right to that. You can also link in course links, which is pretty neat because if I click course links, you'll notice this is actually links to my course that appear right here. So maybe I had created a page, which I believe that's going to be in a webinar coming up, like creating a page, or maybe you want to link them back to your home page, like you've learned previously. You can actually drop this down, and any pages that you have, you can link directly to, and you can see it actually puts the link. So I went ahead and clicked on that. It actually puts the link to it right here in my rich content editor. Okay. So really, you can do just about anything in here. One of my favorite things to do in here is actually what I like to use. I'm going to change this back. What I use a lot, I use insert. And then when I go to insert, I like to use the embed tool because what you can do is you can embed a video directly into the assignment page. And I'll actually go ahead and just take a second to show you what that looks like. So I actually have I'm gonna switch tabs for a minute, and I have a tab up that is this is a video I created about the why behind Canvas that you probably saw. I'm going to click on the share button, and then anywhere you get an embed code. So if you've ever seen an embed code before, they look like this. They might be a little intimidating, but it's really simple. I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm just going to click this copy button right here, and it copies this information that's right here. I'm going to go back to my assignment. And so now we should be seeing this tab again. Here's my assignment. Watch how easy this is. I'm going to click insert, and then I'm going to go down to this embed tool. And from this box, I can simply paste what I copied and click submit. And what you'll see is immediately in my rich content editor, there's that YouTube video. So this is really great because within the assignment itself, you can keep kids right there. So I think that's really a great tool. So maybe a little bit of an advanced technique there, but something I think is really important in Canvas to know how to do. So once you get this set up exactly the way you want, you have the assignment, you have all the directions, everything you want right here. Now we're going to scroll down and look at what our options are here. So our options down below are the very first thing is the points. So what kind of a point value are you going to give this? And that's just as simple as typing it in, giving whatever point value you want to that assignment. The next one is the assignment group, and this one does have some meaning, and I'm going to do my best to explain it. You can actually create in the assignment group. You don't have to use this, but you can for a couple of different reasons. You will notice right here, I've created an assignment group called Assessment of Learning. What happens is because I created that group, and by the way, if you create the groups that sync with our SIS system, they have to be spelled exactly the same. They have to look exactly the same. But what that allows you to do is that allows when you use the feature called grade passback, SIS will automatically know that this should be an assessment of learning assignment. So you can do that for all. You can do assessment of learning, you can do a assessment for learning, participation in learning. You can do all of those things as an assignment group. And you only have to create those groups once. You also don't have to use the ones that SIS uses. If you have a system that works for you, maybe you just want to label it as homework and classwork and project, you can do that as well. And the grade passback will still work. You'll just have one other step to take in SIS where you mark what type of learning it was. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's what that assignment group is. And it's very simple because right here, even on my very first assignment, I can just click create group and it allows me to add the group right here. So very, very simple. Display grade as. This is one that it seems pretty simple, that most people would probably leave it as points, which typically I do see most people leave this as points. However, there's a couple I wanted to mention to you. Every once in a while, I do think there might be something where it really just is a complete or an incomplete. You can actually change this to complete incomplete instead of points. And what that does is on the teacher side of things, it allows you to just click complete or incomplete. So it actually can make your grading a little bit easier based on the type of assignment you're giving, if this is just a complete or incomplete. And maybe if this is just something that maybe it's something students need to turn in, but it's not actually going to go in as a grade, you can make it out of 0 points and just do complete or incomplete. And that's totally fine too. Okay. The other one that I think can be used once in a while is not graded. So the by changing it to not graded, basically what this would do is this would tell a student, hey, it would put it in their to-do list. It would look like an assignment, but there's no way for them to submit anything. So maybe if you just want something to pop up, reminding them of something, hey, reminder to study for your test, maybe this is something you could do because it's actually something that's not going to be graded. For now, we'll go ahead and leave this as points. I'll change this back to 10. And then we're going to continue down. And I've left all these on their default settings so you can see this box is not checked by default. Probably the most important box on this is the next one, and that's the submission type. So in Canvas, if you want students to turn something in, you have to choose a submission type. And you have three choices. Well, you have four choices: no submission, online, on paper, or external tool. No submission is simply no submission. Online is probably the one that is used most often. So what this means is students are going to turn something in on Canvas, okay? Now, what you do is when you choose online, you then have to choose at least one of the following. You're gonna have to choose a text entry, website URL, media recording, or a file upload. So let me walk you through what these are. Text entry is as simple as it gets. It literally brings up a box and allows students to type in that box. So if that's something you would like to be able to have students do, that's totally fine. You simply click text entry, and then the students would have a box appear and they type right in it. They don't have editing tools. They're not going to put in pictures and everything else. They're going to type text in. A website URL, maybe they're going to submit a Google site to you that they've been working on. This is going to allow them to paste in a URL into their submission. They can also use media recordings. So Canvas has built-in recording tools. So this would allow them to use those built-in recording tools. Maybe you want them to do just a quick webcam entry as their reflection. That's a possibility there. And then the last one is file uploads. And this one is really important because this is the one that's going to allow them to basically like turn in a Google Doc or turn in anything they might type. Even if they used a personal computer at home and they typed a Word document, they could send that up as a file upload. Okay. And Canvas is pretty smart. It gives students the little tabs they can choose from to pick what type of file, all the way down to the Google suite of things. A more advanced feature here is restricting the upload file types. So you can also, if you click upload files, you can also restrict the file types. Perhaps you only want them to turn in an image that's a JPEG. You could say, I'm only allowing a JPEG image to be uploaded, and Canvas restricts that for you. Again, pretty advanced feature, and one that's not too often used, but definitely know how all of these work. If you don't want students to be able to do a media recording, you simply deselect that and they will not be able to do that. So that's how an online submission works. If I change this down to on paper, here's what's kind of neat about this. Let's say students are doing a project in class and they're actually going to turn in a lab report or something in class on paper. They're going to have a drawing, they're doing a lab. The reason for setting this up on Canvas this way is you can actually use the Canvas speed grader to grade those things that they turned in on paper. So they won't actually click a submit button, but they will click turn in the assignment to notify you that they're done with it, but then you will have the paper copy. And again, this is for another video, if you have rubrics or anything like that that are built into Canvas, you could use those. You could then put into Canvas, and then you could pass the grade right back to SIS. So that is an option too of on paper. So they're actually going to turn something in on paper. The last choice here is external tool. And this is one where actually our next webinar is going to go into much more detail, because the external tool is something like Google Assignments if you like to use Google SpeedGrader, or maybe you're wanting to use Canvas Studio. This is where the external tool submission type is located. And again, that's all we're going to talk about on this one, because we're going through just the basic Canvas assignments. Okay. As I continue scrolling down, you can choose, do students have unlimited attempts? And by default, they have unlimited attempts or limited attempts of submission. So are you going to change this to have kids only have two chances to turn it in? Most of the time, I think this is typically left on unlimited because you do get a history of how many times students submit. I'm going to mention both of these, but we're not going to go into these. You can set up group assignments, and a group assignment in Canvas basically means you pre-select the groups of students that are going to do the assignment, and then only one student is going to submit for the group. So if you have 5 groups in your class, you would only get 5 things turned in on Canvas, but it counts basically for the entire class. It is possible to set that up. That's a more advanced feature we're going to go into later. Same thing with peer reviewing. You can actually set it up to where students have to review each other's work prior to submission. Very cool feature. Not going to necessarily go into this today. This next box is very, very important. The sync to SIS. If you would like to sync your grades back to the SIS gradebook, this box must be checked, okay? If that box is not checked, that grade will not be available to sync back, okay? Now, this box doesn't mean it auto syncs. As soon as I hit save, it's not gonna like sync into SIS. I still have to tell the sync to happen, but if this box is not checked, that assignment will not be visible to you. So that's a really important one to remember. If you're going to bring the grade over to SIS, please make sure that one is checked. And the very last field we have here, and kind of to wrap this up today, is something I think is really, really beneficial to using Canvas. And that is how you can assign these. So you can see by default, this says assign to everyone, okay? Here's my due date, so I can click my calendar and I can give it a due date. I can say a date, or I can specify a time. You can see it's going to automatically do 11:59, the very last part of that day. But if you want it turned in before the school day's out and you need to change that to 2:20, you most certainly can do that. When is it available from? So this would basically say, kids can see this today, but then it's actually not going to be available for them to see on Thursday. So it's actually going to it will unpublish it so they won't be able to see the assignment. You don't have to use these. You do need to use a due date. One of the critical things to using a due date is the sync to SIS will not work if there is no due date. So please make sure you do have a due date in there, okay? Here's what's great about this. I can assign to everyone, or I can actually close everyone out. And you will see here, I have in my course, I have course sections. So if I have different sections in my course, I can assign to just a section. Or what I think is really nice, and I put my children in this course, I can assign this assignment just to Abigail. So I can put this person in here. And so the only Canvas course that would update would be hers because I'm assigning this just to her. I can even come down here and click add, and I can say assign something. I can assign this to Kennedy, but maybe I need to change the due date because maybe she gets some extended time on that. So I'm going to give a different due date. So within the same assignment, I can actually assign to multiple children for different due dates. I can even come in here. If I get rid of this one, I can say everyone, and notice how it says everyone else. So I could say, this student has this due date, but everyone else has a different due date. So that is really, really cool for making sure kids are getting the supports they need, and just built into Canvas right there. Okay. So that runs us right down to there's the entire assignment. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to go ahead. You have some choices here. You can save or save and publish. Typically, I just click save because what I like to do is I like to see what the assignment actually looks like. So from here, here is my my assignment. You can see now this is what kids are going to see. And down here, I see that it's worth 10 points. Here's how they can submit. And then I have a couple of different due dates going on. Obviously, here I mentioned rubric earlier. We'll get into that in a future video. And then the last thing I need to do is I would simply publish this assignment. And once I see published there, if I go to my modules, you will see that this assignment is published right there. And that is exactly how you would set up an assignment. Going to stop. I'm going to come back here. That is going to end it for this webinar. I really appreciate you joining in, and this was recorded, so there will definitely be a recording of this ready to go. But hopefully that gives you just a brief overview of how to get an assignment set up in Canvas so you can have kids turning things in on day one. Thank you so much.